There is a script that has been running in your head since the day you were born. It was installed by your parents, reinforced by your teachers, and validated by society. The script goes like this. Go to school, get good grades, find a safe, secure job, save your money, buy a house, and retire when you are too old to enjoy. If you follow that script in 2026, you are not moving toward wealth. You are walking directly into a trap. The world we live in is divided into two distinct economic realities. There is the world of the employee, the poor dad philosophy, where you trade time for money, pay the highest taxes, and save a currency that is being printed into oblivion. And then there is the world of the capitalist, the rich dad philosophy. In this world, debt makes you richer, taxes are optional, and you never, ever work for money. Money works for you. Most people spend their entire lives trying to win a game that is rigged against them, simply because no one ever explained the rules. Today, we are going to burn the old script. I'm going to deconstruct the specific mechanics, the assets, the tax loopholes, and the psychological reprogramming required to escape the rat race. This isn't just a book summary. This is the financial education they conveniently forgot to teach you in school. Let's start by destroying the biggest lie in personal finance. Your house is an asset. If you ask an accountant, or your banker, or your poor dad, they will list your home under the asset column. They are lying to you. To the wealthy, words have different meanings, and the definition of an asset is ruthless in its simplicity. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket. Look at your house. Does it pay you every month? No. It eats. It demands a mortgage payment, property tax, insurance, maintenance. Even if you pay off the mortgage, the government still taxes the land. Stop paying, and you'll see who really owns that asset. By buying a bigger house, most people aren't buying wealth. They are buying a bigger liability that traps them in the job they hate just to keep the lights on. The rich obsess over one thing, the asset column, while the middle class focuses on their income statement. Try get a raise, working overtime, getting a second degree. The wealthy focus on their balance sheet. They acquire things that have a job. A rental property has a job. Pay me rent. A stock dividend has a job. Pay me a share of profits. A business has a job. Generate cash flow without my physical presence. This is the fundamental difference. If you are an employee, your profession is your income. If you stop working, the money stops. You are the engine. For the rich, their assets are their income. They are not the engine. They are the mechanic who builds the machine. And once you understand that your goal is to acquire assets, not just save money, you run into the next barrier. The silent wealth killer. They are the reason the middle class struggles to build wealth, even when they earn good salaries. It's called the sequence of taxation. If you are an employee, you live in the harshest tax bracket on earth. The sequence goes like this. You earn, you get taxed, and then you try to live on what is left. The government takes their cut before you even see the money. You have zero control, but the rich use a legal vehicle to flip this equation. It's called a corporation. Now, people think a corporation is a big building with a logo. It's not. A corporation is just a folder of papers with a few legal documents in it. But that folder is magic. A corporation allows you to earn, spend everything you can on cars, dinners, travel, equipment, and only then pay tax on what is left over. The tax code is not a punishment mechanism. It is an incentive mechanism. You see, the government wants certain things. They want housing, they want jobs, they want businesses. If you do what the government wants, if you start a business or provide housing, they reward you with tax breaks. The poor dad complains about taxes. The rich dad uses the tax code as a map to wealth. By using a corporation, you limit your losses and you maximize your capital for reinvestment. It is the single greatest legal loophole in a modern economy, and it is available to anyone willing to set it up. So why doesn't everyone do this? Why do we stay in a cubicle? Because we are terrified of risk. We are biologically wired to avoid loss more than we desire gain. We say, what if I lose money? What if the business fails? I've been there. When I started my journey in e-commerce and YouTube, I lost money. I spent thousands on ads that went nowhere. I tested products that nobody bought. By the poor dad definition, I was a failure. I was wasting money. But in the world of the wealthy, there is no such thing as losing. There is only winning or learning. I wasn't losing money. I was paying tuition. I was buying data. I was buying the skill of understanding what the market didn't want. You cannot learn to ride a bicycle by reading a book about physics. You have to get on a bike and you have to fall. And then there is the fear of debt. We are taught that all debt is evil. Debt is bad. Pay it off. This is partially true. Consumer debt, borrowing money to buy liabilities like cars, clothes, or vacations, is financial cancer. That is bad debt. But the rich love debt. They use good debt. Good debt is when other people's money buys an asset that pays for the debt and puts money in your pocket. If I borrow $1 million to buy an apartment complex, and the rent covers the loan and leaves me with $5,000 a month in profit, I have zero of my own money in the deal, and I have an infinite return on investment. That is the power of leverage. The poor dad worked for money. The rich dad creates money out of thin air, using leverage and financial intelligence. But how do you start if you have no money? There is a psychological trigger in the book that is incredibly difficult to execute, but it changes everything. It's called pay yourself first. Most people pay the landlord, the phone company, the government, and then save whatever crumbs are left. Usually, there is nothing left. Robert Kiyosaki suggests something radical. Take a percentage of your income, even if it's small, and move it into your asset column before you pay your bills. This creates a crisis. You are now short on money for your bills. This pressure is intentional. It forces your brain to wake up. Instead of saying, I can't afford it, you are forced to ask, how can I afford it? It triggers your financial survival instinct. It forces you to hustle, to sell something, to create value, to find a side gig. Disclaimer, use common sense here. Don't get evicted, but understand the principle. If you don't prioritize your wealth, no one else will. And finally, stop working to earn. Start working to learn. The poor dad looks for a job with good benefits and high pay. The rich dad looks for a job that teaches a skill. You could be one skill away from millions. Maybe you need to learn sales. Maybe you need to understand accounting. Maybe you need to learn how to write copy. When you are young, especially if you have no dependents, you should be taking risks. You should be working for free if the mentor is right. You should be absorbing knowledge, because knowledge is the ultimate leverage. The reality is, we are living through the greatest transfer of wealth in history. The internet has leveled the playing field. The barriers to entry are gone. You don't need a factory. You don't need permission. But you do need a new operating system. You need to move from a scarcity mindset, where you hoard pennies and fear the future, to an abundance mindset, where you see opportunities and create value. The poor dad inside you wants to click off this video, go back to scrolling, and complain about the economy. The rich dad inside you is ready to take control. Don't just read the book. Don't just watch the video. Apply the leverage. Buy the asset. Start the corporation. The system is rigged. But now, you have the cheat codes.